Joining us now, Congressman Michael McCaul, top Republican on the Foreign Affairs Committee. Good to see you this morning,
Thanks,
Congressman.
Martha.
You moderated a classified debate on, or not a debate, a briefing on the Hill this week with General Milley and others. Did you come away thinking it was near certain that Russia would invade?
You know, I would say the conditions are there. It's more likely than not. I think the noose is being prepared. It's around Ukraine right now as we speak. These are dangerous times. Time is of the essence. This would be the largest invasion in Europe since World War II. The time frame, as Jake Sullivan mentioned, is closing in.
And what does it mean for Americans if this happens? Horrible numbers coming out for Europe in a refugee crisis. What does it mean for Americans?
It's a great question. We have to explain, why is Ukraine important, right? Because it emboldens and empowers Putin. I would go back to Nord Stream 2, the sanctions that we passed were weighed by this president that laid the predicate for this. The deterrence has not been there, and deterrence is key. Since last March, this buildup has started. Afghanistan was a key moment where Putin and our adversaries like Xi saw that as a moment of weakness. The most eerie thing is to see Xi and Putin hand in hand together at the Olympics, making a pact together against the United States of America.
And what do you think the fallout from that is with China's involvement and standing there next to Putin? Jake Sullivan didn't seem to think that was a huge problem.
This is why it's so important, because she is watching what is happening. Our adversaries are watching. If Putin could go into Ukraine with no resistance, certainly Xi will take Taiwan. He's always wanted this, in the South China Sea, as well, very tactical. The Ayatollah near a bomb is looking at this, and then Kim Jong-un had two rockets fired off this month that were hypersonics.
I want to go back to Putin. You look at Vladimir Putin. He's all about force. He's all about power. He's all about winning. So where is his off-ramp here? What would make him pull those troops back without looking like he's defeated?
I think deterrence. It's possible he could invade part of Ukraine and claim a victory. But if we don't provide the deterrence, they held up this $200 million arms package that Congress approved, just now released it. Now they're saying it's too late. I'm working with the Senate Foreign Relations Committee on a bill that we hope to get out this week that will stand up the deterrence where the administration has failed to provide not only the lethal aid to Ukraine, but also the sanctions necessary, devastating sanctions, including Nord Stream 2. That is the biggest leverage, is that energy pipeline that President Biden gave him into Europe.
I want to ask you the same question I asked him. How does this end? If they invade and you put those sanctions on, how does he respond? Where does this go from here? And you have a huge refugee crisis.
Well, that's part of their plan that we've seen in the classified space, an internment camp, a coup of the governance in Ukraine. Maybe financially they rely more on China. But at the end of the day, what you're going to see, Martha, is a resistance movement in Ukraine. That's why we're sending them sniper rifles, ammunition. Remember, majority of Ukrainians are not pro-Russian anymore. Unlike before Crimea, they don't like Russia, and there is a resistance movement there. But that, I would far better, to prevent this from happening in the first place, to stop an invasion rather than wait till after the fact. And too many of their ideas are like, after an invasion, we're going to do sanctions, or after an invasion, we'll give lethal aid.
I want to turn now, if I can, to the RNC. The RNC voted to censure your colleagues, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, for their roles in investigating the Capitol riot, and the resolution referred to January 6th as legitimate political discourse. Do you stand by the RNC's actions and statements?
My understanding is that pertained to the legitimate protesters that I saw that day.
It still says that in the resolution.
And nothing, I condemn the violence at the Capitol. And those who committed criminal offenses, who were violent at the Capitol, need to be prosecuted. As a former federal prosecutor, and I've said that all along, that needs to be addressed. And I think part of the problem with my party is they view that as a weaponization, that Pelosi's weaponizing January 6th, politicizing it to her advantage. But at the end of the day, I think that the truth needs to come out, with respect to this. And, why are we talking about this resolution, right, Martha? Why aren't Republicans talking about the failures of the Biden administration in Afghanistan, with this Ukraine-Russia thing, with China, all over the world? The border's wide open.
I just want to ask you this again. Do you stand by the RNC's actions and statements?
As I understand it, they were referring to the peaceful protesters when they said that. I do not agree with that statement if it's applying to those who committed criminal offenses and violence to overtake our shrine of democracy.
Should they have been censured?
You know, I'm not a member of the RNC. I wasn't privy to the resolution. You know, again, from a
You defended Liz Cheney before.
I can tell you from a messaging standpoint, the Republicans need to unify, as Christie talked about what are we going to do for the country to get the majority back in Congress, to get the White House back in 2024. It's not helpful when they see us divided as a party rather than unified. And we have so much to be unified against when it comes to Biden's failed policies.
Okay, thanks very much for joining us this morning, Congressman. Always good to see you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.